Hello, Abnormal Seeking the Truth. It's been a while since we've dropped some videos over here, but we're going to be dropping a lot more, so I hope you guys are ready for some scary, unworldly encounters. Let's get with this one, guys. My reason to share these experiences is to give hope to people out there who have experienced something similar. You're not crazy, you're not imagining things, and most of all, you're not alone with your experiences. I desire no spotlight or compensation for this story. I experienced a shadow creature. This happened to me in my mid-20s when I was studying art. I've always drawn ever since I was able to hold a pen, so being admitted into the art school was a small dream come true. I loved my studies, and going to school every day was a delight. I was also healthy and rarely sick. The worst issues I had with my health were period pains, but this one schooling morning I woke up feeling really croaky and really sick. Thinking that I hadn't just gotten enough sleep, as I did. I have a bad habit of staying up late, even when I need to wake up at 6:30 a.m. to get to the school by 8. I got up from the bed, and I readied myself for the school day, brushed my teeth, groomed myself, ate, and left for the bus station to catch my ride. The mornings during winter in the North Europe are both cold and extremely dark, so it's easy to feel sleepy. It's actually a medically acknowledged condition here up in the north that people are tired and have harder times to stay awake when you see a dim excuse of sunlight for at least 4 hours each day. However, I was more tired than usual. I left my home at 7 a.m. The bus station was just 3 minutes walk away from my home, but after a minute of walking I decided that I needed a break. I was going to stay home, sleep as much as I could, and see if I felt better tomorrow. If so, I could go to school and miss only one day, and if I was really facing a rare case of catching a virus or something, then I would know it by tomorrow and act accordingly. I turned my heels and dragged my feet through the snow back to the cozy apartment. I didn't take any medicine because I planned to catch some sleep first, and if I was still feeling under the weather after waking up, I would medicate myself. So I undressed myself and slipped under my nice warm blankets. My bed was pushed into an alcove, which was located just behind my built-in closet for jackets and shoes. Next to the closet was my front door. I was always sleeping on my bed, face toward the wall, which led to my front door. Think about an L-shaped space where the long side of the L is the alcove and the short part of the L is the wall, and behind it is a space for the closet. The front door is at the tip of the short side of the letter L. Unlike I had expected, I couldn't fall asleep. I was laying on my stomach, eyes closed, listening to how someone from the same apartment complex was walking in the staircase, clearly leaving for their own day of work for this day. The room was dimly lit with a few street lights shining through my curtains. It is a bit better to be in the city during a winter than in the countryside where you can't see even your own hand during the darkness times of the winter. Trust me, I grew up in a rural forest near the Russian border. It's as dark as a monster's behind, as we say here. While listening to my neighbor minding their own business in the staircase of this apartment complex, I suddenly heard my front door lock opening. It was 7 a.m. on a weekday. No one should be coming in. I had not called for maintenance, and even in the case of needing them, they always called and agreed upon the time that they could come to visit and fix the problem. I could still hear the front door lock opening and the door opening slowly. At first I thought maybe it was my landlord, as he surely must have had a spare key to my apartment, but as quickly as I got this idea, I shot it down. During all these years I had lived in this apartment, I had not heard a single wheeze from my landlord. There ain't no way he'd be here. No one else except my mother, who lived 45 minutes drive away, had a spare key. Excited to think that it was my mother and maybe she had stopped by to ask me if I wanted to go shopping with her to a nearby big city from the small town. I turned on my stomach if it was Mom asking me to go. I would go with her even if half dead, as getting a chance to go shopping and to have a car drive was rare luxury to someone without a license. As I turned on my stomach and waited for my mother to come in, I saw the dim light in the room, a black head peeking behind the wall at the end of my bed. Happy that someone was in and certain it was to my mother, I tried to open my mouth to let her know that I was awake, and she could turn on the light. The switch was on her left anyway. No need to tiptoe around, but I couldn't speak. Nothing came out of my mouth, not even a small wheeze. I kept staring at this person, and the longer I looked, the less human it started to look like. It was solid black, really, really tall. My room ceiling was 3 meters high, which is about 10 feet. And this creature wouldn't have been able to stand up straight. I think it must have been close to 4 meters, 13 feet. It was hunched over, with a long neck. Its fingers curled around the edge of the wall at my bed's end, while its neck pushed further into my apartment from the mudroom. It was looking forward like scanning the area. It was moving very slowly and carefully, appearing almost shy or timid. Half of its body emerged from behind the small wall, and I could see that its limbs were unnaturally long for its body. The body itself was thin and lean, and it looked human. It didn't have any facial features, no ears or nose or eyes or mouth. I think the best way to describe it is to imagine a solid black Slenderman with no clothes or features, with long fingers. I must say that this happened 2 years before Creepypasta came up with the Slenderman lore, so I was not influenced by it. What I was seeing was not a twisted, imaginative version of a Slenderman, but an entity of its own. Nor this was a shadow person, because it was way too solid for being an apparition or a ghost, which shadow people, I've read, typically are. I was still somehow thinking that this had to be my mother. I don't know why, perhaps because the feeling I got from the creature was warm and friendly. Just like when you look at little birds and feel them being friendly. I was feeling the same when I saw the creature. I tried to say that it was okay to turn on the lights. I was awake, but I was still unable to speak. The creature emerged fully behind the wall, and suddenly it spotted me. We faced one another, eyes locked, even when it didn't have any eyes. Just this black mass. I was able to hum a bit at this point, but no words still came out. The creature kept its attention locked at me, while it started to slowly move toward me. When we noticed one another, the distance between us had to be no more than 2 meters or 6 feet. It kept coming closer to me, with the same very slow, soft, almost calculated movement. As it approached me, its face came closer to me. As it hunched lower, clearly curious about me, finally it was standing right next to my head at the bedside, peering down to my face, creepy, just a few inches away from it, like a mother would peer down to her little baby in their crib. Still I saw no features, just this black mass shape of a human head. I could tell that it was friendly, and it was curious about me. Finally, a little wheeze came out from my lips, and my eyes shot open. I don't know how my eyes were closed, because I was seeing my own apartment as it was in that dim streetlight, both with eyes closed. Maybe my eyes were cracked, I'm not sure. I had not fallen asleep, I knew that. But somehow, when my eyes fully opened, this creature disappeared too. It was gone, like it never had been there. Later I told my sister and my brother about this encounter, as they know I don't make these things up, and they've had their own share of experiences. When I described the creature, my sister said that she too had seen it, but outside. It had been running alongside a car when she was in her teens and returning back from school from a school taxi. It ran from one shadow to another, emerging to the shadow, almost like diving into it, and then bounced out from the shadow to appear on the sunny patches in the forest along the country road. The car was driving. It kept up with the car's speed at ease, and it ran along for a long while. I never asked for detail, but I got an impression from my sister's words that the creature was running on all fours, or bouncing on all fours, like a big feline would run by leaping. She said that no one else saw it. Also, my brother confessed also seeing the same looking creature in his childhood. He had walked past our living room window and noticed something on the birch tree in our yard, just outside the window. There sat the solid black creature with no facial features or eyes and with unnaturally long limbs, squatting on one of the tree branches. Fast forward to the year 2016, or similar, my sister and I alike to watch paranormal documentaries, and whenever we meet each other, we will spend time with these shows. And on one documentary, there was a story of a man who had an uninvited spirit in his basement, causing him all sorts of frights and nuisances. He said he was able to capture it in a photo, which made him happy because he had some solid evidence now in his hands. This photo was shown on that specific program. When my sister and I saw it on TV, we froze. In a photo, there was the same black figure, with the features and the long limbs we both had seen on our own occasion. Without a word, we turned and looked at each other knowingly and said, almost in unison, "That's it. That's the creature." Well, guys, thank you, number one, for sharing that encounter. If you watch those things on your TV or you bring it into your house in books or papers or anything like that, you're welcoming it in, and I believe that's what she done. I don't think that you should watch those kind of things if you don't want those kind of things to happen, or if you're not strong enough to rebuke them. I think it's also maybe something that's part of sleep paralysis. It makes me kind of wonder that too, because you couldn't talk or anything or move, and that kind of goes along with it. And I wonder if it's like a paralyzing thing that these creatures do when they enter the house to make sure that you can't move. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. There'll be more to come. Let me know if if you really like these and you like this channel, and we'll keep these kind of encounters rolling as people are sending them in. Thank you for watching. Be safe, and always remember, you have authority over them.